Hello everybody, welcome to my brand new project from my new studio here in Germany. This is AB TV. My aim is to bring you content all about Aberdeen Football Club and the world of football as we move forward. Thank you so much for joining me today. What I'm going to do today is just basically give you a feel for what I'm going to do. So we're only going to do a pre-show today. There will be no halftime show and there'll be no full-time show. That will all come in the coming days and the coming weeks. So just let me give you a feel for what I'm going to be able to give you in the coming weeks. Now I'm going to be producing this program as well as presenting it as well. So bear with me while I look down and I do all the technicalities and all that sort of stuff. But we are basically ABTV. All the post-match reaction from all Aberdeen games. Look out for exclusive one-on-one video interviews with Aberdeen players past and present and major names from world football as I chat to an Aberdeen icon. Delighted to say, joining me today is Eric Black.
I'm still hoping that you're still staking claim for that chant, yeah?
It's brought a lot of smiles to people's faces. You know, it's a catchy tune.
Every Monday, I look back on the weekend's game with key journalists, but more importantly, you the fans. If history is your thing, I endeavour to dedicate special programmes celebrating key dates from the Aberdeen Football Club calendar. The Aberdeen against Bayern Munich game from the first leg, Cup Winners' Cup quarter-final, which was played on the 2nd of March 1983. So this is the main part of the away team dressing room, and this is where Alex Ferguson gave the boys his final instructions before they went out onto the park. Those instructions were quite simple. It included getting early balls into the box, keep Paul Breitner quiet, and show Bayern Munich how good you are. It certainly worked on the night. All this and so much more only here on ABTV. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be getting you guys involved very much on social media. I'm really looking forward to hearing all your opinions on there. It's also very important to me that you, the fans, get involved here on ABTV. This show is yours just as much as it is mine. And over the coming weeks and the coming months, it's very important to get your opinions on all things Aberdeen and football here on ABTV. Now, most of you will know that I've been doing a lot of blogs over the past nearly 3 years now. My aim now is to take it up a notch. We will still do written blogs, but the idea now is to do exclusive one-on-one interviews live via ABTV so that you can actually see the guys, you can see the emotions and everything that they're talking about during the blogs. Thank you for your support so far with it. It's been absolutely brilliantly received and I can't wait to get stuck into that. On a Monday night, the aim will be to bring in journalists to have a chat about the weekend's games and what's basically been happening during the Aberdeen game. So we'll be looking at headlines, we'll be looking at how the games have been reported, and we'll be bringing in predominant key figures in the world of journalism to talk about the Aberdeen game at the weekend and wider football topics as well. Now, just as we move forward, I have a little bit of an announcement to make. I'm absolutely delighted and thrilled to say that I've gone into a new partnership with Lux Scott. ABTV will project even more content and original programming to captivate and inform our followers, and it is being brought to you, our viewers, thanks to a partnership agreement with luxury minibus company Lux Scott and the support of my long-term blog partner, Saltire Energy. A special thank you to company director Alan Findlater and business manager David McDonald from Lux Scott for all their support with this project, and to Mike Logie and Craig Cameron from Saltire Energy, who have been with me for the past 3 years. If you're wondering what Lux Scott is all about, with the guys, there is the telephone number. I had the privilege of testing one of the buses when I was home in Aberdeen last weekend, and they really are spectacular. So if you're looking to go to a game, if you're looking to go to an event, if you're looking for a special occasion, these guys will really take care of you. The buses really are first class. So please feel free to get in touch with the guys whenever you wish to do so. Today, Aberdeen play Dundee. It's a huge game coming up at Pittodrie. I'm a little bit nervous, but I've got to be honest. I don't know what you guys think at home, but I just think we're 3 points away from basically being safe. I'm going on the Big Saturday Football Show a little bit later on North Sound Radio to talk about the game with the guys. And I am going to tell them that I'm going to be confident of a win today. I think all the lads know how important it is to get the win and to secure our safety in the top flight. It's been nervous. We've definitely not been at our best. Jim Goodwin gave his press conference to the media a couple of days ago. Just picked out just one or two of his quotes from the day, just to have a little look at. This is what I thought the key notes were. He basically said, the players who have been told that they're going to be leaving the club have not featured a great deal anyway. They couldn't have had an impact on the performance on a match day. I'll be discussing that with Gary from ABZ Podcast a little bit later today. He also went on to say that my message to the players for the next few games will be to win. Find a way to win the game. It is that old cliche. We have to defend better. We have to keep clean sheets, and we have to be more ruthless and clinical at the top end of the pitch. I think it's fair to say that we kind of all know what our problems are at the moment, and it's good to see that Jim is addressing this. I think we all know that he knows what the issues are. And I have to say, the early indications of what he's been saying in the media, to me, is very positive. We have to keep a positive spin on it. I've just picked out some of the newspaper headlines that caught my attention during the week. This is from Sean Wallace from the Press and Journal, who said Aberdeen are still in a hole 6 months on. Aberdeen in danger of a dire season descending into disaster. I think it's safe to say that we all know that. Everybody at the football club knows that. And I am absolutely convinced that everybody at the football club is really pulling together to make sure that we don't go down. I think to say that the efforts that are going on the training field and behind the scenes, especially with the new signings that Jim is targeting in the transfer window, everybody's putting in 100% at the moment. I was quite interested to see that Mark McGee also came out and said a couple of things ahead of today's game. He said he wants to spark Aberdeen fan pressure on Jim Goodwin's struggling side. I'm expecting a difficult game today. I don't think it will be easy. I'm almost expecting the same type of game that we had against Ross County and that we had against Livingston, where I think we're going to have the bulk of possession. We're going to try and create as much as we can, but Dundee are going to try and hit us on the counter and hit us on the break. And I think it's safe to say we all know that we have to defend so much better. Even the lads have come out and said that we have to defend so much better than what we currently are. So Jim Goodwin's been in charge now for a few weeks. Just a couple of weeks ago, I spoke to Clyde manager Danny Lennon for North Sound Radio to speak to him about Jim Goodwin. Danny was Jim's manager when St Mirren won the Scottish Cup. He was also his captain. And I actually started the interview by asking Danny if he believes that Jim can turn the fortunes of the club around. This is what he had to say.
I've no doubt. I mean, I thought there was great foundations at the club already under Derek McInnes, who'd done an absolutely wonderful job. Him and Tony Dock, so they did. And I thought that was a play, and that's where that's where sometimes as a board of directors, and what you're looking for. Sometimes you've always got to remember where you dine at that top table, Ali. So you do, where your place is. And, Derek done ever so well in the amount of semi-finals, the amount of finals. Yeah, he could have maybe won one or two more finals. There's no doubt about that. But he was getting there. And maybe that is where they were at that moment in time, out with Rangers and Celtic. Board of directors obviously thought they needed more on that. And they brought in somebody that was untested in the Scottish game. To be perfectly honest, in his own right, Stephen's a top bloke. Did very, very well over in America. But I even remember my first time when I came into the top league, the top flight from County to St Mirren. What a whole new ball game, a whole new learning curve. You've got to know the insides and outsides of the club. What makes them tick. And that was a great learning curve. That's probably the biggest learning curve that I'd learned my first season at St Mirren, going in there and working with a group of players that they weren't really your players. You didn't handpick them, Ali. You were left there with them, still under contract. And a lot of people think that you've got to go in there and then put your own stamp and your own philosophy on the game, but sometimes you don't have the players to do that. And that's where, as a young manager, you maybe need a wee bit of guidance, somebody a wee bit more experienced that can take you and advise you that you've got to change a wee bit to the quality of the players that you've got. And you might have to, for 6 months to a season, until you get a couple of transfer windows right, that you've got to adapt to the abilities of the players that you've got. And I think that's what Jim will be doing now, is assessing his group of players, but also trying to get the best out of them at this moment in time.
Kind of working quite well, huh?
Sorry, Danny, just to finish off, one last question for you. He's already started to shake things up. So there was a mutual agreement to allow Scott Brown to leave the club, and he's now shaking up his backroom staff. How important is it to have his own people at the club? How important is that?
I think that's very important as a manager, and I think it's absolutely terrific that, the chairman of Aberdeen Football Club, the board of directors, are backing him in that. My only advice to Jim at this moment in time, and he seems to be doing well within that, is that if you are going to make the changes, you've got to be seen to doing them, Ali, in the first 2 to 3 months, when it's all new. That's when you'll probably get the most that you'll ever get out of a chairman or a new employer. So Jim's still in that wee bit of honeymoon period at this minute in time. He'll be looking forward to finishing the season as high up the table as possibly can. And I'm sure, along with bringing the right people in behind him that has served them very, very well at St Mirren, that, he'll be looking forward to a transfer window that he'll probably shape the squad up also and start to put his own style and his own philosophy, in the way that he wants to take Aberdeen forward. And there's no doubt that would have all been ironed out prior to Jim putting pen to paper.
My thanks to Danny, who joined me from his home in Glasgow to talk about Jim Goodwin. You can see the full interview of that on North Sound Radio's website. So this is Jim's record since he became Aberdeen manager. 8 games, as we know. Only won 1 so far, drawn 3. And more worryingly, he's lost 4 games. But let's stay positive. I actually thought last week against Livingston, that in parts of the game, I actually thought we played quite well. I thought we looked more aggressive. I thought we were getting into good positions. I actually said to a couple of my pals when we were watching the game, I think we're actually playing okay today. But again, we just got hit by the sucker punch. So I have every confidence that Jim will also turn this around. I'm really looking forward to seeing the players that he's looking to bring in, the ideas that he's got. But as I mentioned earlier, early indications are, for me, favourable for what he's saying off the pitch, in press conferences, in post-match interviews as well. So I know it's the old cliche, but he needs time. He needs to stamp his own authority. He needs to get his own players in as well. I was also really interested to hear what he was saying about letting these players go, that these players really have appreciated his honesty when they told him that their basically requirements will be surplus going forward. So we have to get behind him. We have no choice. We've got to get behind the team going forward. Today's a massive game, as we know, at Pittodrie. I have put together what I think will be the starting 11 for today's game. Ross McCrory, as we know, is suspended for the game. So this is what I potentially think could be today's team. Joe will obviously start in goal. Calvin, our Football Writers Young Player of the Year at right back. Declan and David in the middle. Young Jack out at left back. And then I've actually gone with Funzo to partner Lewis Ferguson in the middle of the pitch. I think Johnny Hayes will play a little bit forward today. Connor playing just in that hole. Hasn't Connor been absolutely fantastic since he's come in? What a player this kid could be. For me, he's been an absolute shining light. He really has. Vicento, I expect to play out on the right. Maybe he'll come in, swap. Let's see how that goes. And I think Marley Watkins will stay up front today. I think Christian will be on the bench today. Lots of chat about him. Glad to see that the manager came out and put a lot of those rumours about him going back to America to bed, trying to explain what's going on. So that was very positive to see as well. So that's what I think will be the starting 11 today. Let's just get some reaction from Twitter. The Dons supporters together, really good site. Give them a follow if you want to. Really good bunch on there. They've basically said, let's just put the season to bed today. First Dons match. Give these guys a follow as well. Got some really good stuff going on. Come on, Reds. Send them back to Dundee with no points. So a lot of guys getting involved in Twitter at the moment. What I'm going to be doing going forward is I'm actually going to try and set up the software where we can show tweets. You guys can get involved on here as well. We can discuss the tweets going forward. But that is also something that I'm really looking forward to getting involved in with you guys as well. Okay, time now to introduce to you my first guest on ABTV. This was a pre-recorded interview, only done this morning. I'm absolutely delighted to say Graham Hunter from Spain joined me earlier today. This is what we discussed.
Absolutely thrilled to say, joining me on ABTV to look ahead to the Dundee game, my first guest, and I can think of nobody better, my pal, Graham Hunter, coming to you live from Barcelona. Hi, Graham. It's lovely to see you. How are you doing?
Listen, I'm nervous. What do you think? How am I doing? I'm not just nervous for ABTV and its first day. I'm ultra nervous because, I mean, come on, you know better people than me, but it's kind of you to give me the exposure that I need greatly. Nervous because, you know, how David Byrne, born in Scotland, Pendleline. My God, how did we get here? So Dundee, I'm a lot older than you, but, you know, Dundee, particularly Dens Park, we just called it 3 points, you know, in the Fergie era. all we did was go down to Dundee and win and win and win and win and win. So we host them today, and the idea that everybody is chewing their fingernails, the idea that this 5-point gap in goals difference, the goals score difference, that Ali, the only time in my lifetime when we've really genuinely looked in potential trouble for relegation, those playoffs, the spirit around the club back then, you'll remember it. It was just like defiant. It was aggressive. I remember Jeremy Logan, son of James Logan, who was the stage manager for Scotland the What all those years, and I on our feet roaring at the referee or the opposition, and the sense of elation about how we coped with those. It was the Dundee United game that stuck in my mind forever and ever and ever. And now, you said, how am I doing? I'm like everybody, Ali. I'm chewing my nails in it, and I shouldn't be.
Mm. Do you know? I remember back in '95, Graham. There was a real togetherness. The club, the players, the manager, the fans. I'm not sure, and I really hope I'm wrong. It's just a gut feeling. I'm not sure that same togetherness is in evidence at the moment.
I think you can be sure it's not there. I mean, first of all, we had a much more senior squad in those days. Secondly, there is no doubt that man for man across the squad, although there's a similarity in the position we found ourselves, that was a more talented squad. There were, I don't want to be denigratory of who's going to be going out and playing today for Jim Goodwin, but there were several players in that squad that and I know for whom the badge, not just professionalism, but the badge and the fans mattered absolutely hugely, gigantically. And for whatever he's gone on to do subsequently, and thank goodness Big Roy Aitken is now healthy again after some difficult years, the impact he had on taking over from Willie was sizable. Whether that was a temporary impact, whether the things that he changed made a giant amount of difference. Like you, what I felt was on the pitch, whichever 11 stood in, it was talented, it was aggressive. They knew they shouldn't have been in the position they were in, and they fought like tigers. I was going to swear there. They fought like tigers in order to make sure that not only did they satisfy us and comply with our contracts and merit their wages, it was a matter of personal pride for them. And I don't see a lack of professionalism in the players today, but I do see a lack of self-certainty, a lack of that bite, that competitive aggression. I was speaking to one of the Gothenburg heroes last week, and I pointed out to him that it must be driving him absolutely crazy to watch the lack of. It sounds a basic thing, but you get taught wherever you go in the world, however good the coach is you're talking to, however good the players you're talking to, that competitive bite that starts with, my pride is wounded, I'm mentally prepared, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to say hello to the referee and try and influence him from the start. I don't care if he thinks that's right or wrong. It was good enough for Anders Iniesta in Euro 2012, it's good enough for us now. Bully the opposition, bully my rival, bully them, beat them. I'm not sure that we've yet inculcated that spirit into certain members of the squad. And I think I hate saying this, but I think the experience tells you and I, and the quality of our own vision tells you and I, that there's a lot of players out there who are genuinely nervous, and who wherever we go and we do interviews, you'll hear ex-players say, I really appreciate this guy today. And because I live in Spain, you lived abroad for many years, our palate is international. And they'll say he doesn't hide. Now in Scotland, doesn't hide means that, if the tackles are flying in, you'll kick back and you won't be. But the fact is, not hiding from the right decision, not hiding from the pressure of the fans moaning if you do something wrong, but the thing you've done is show for the ball, take the ball, try and carry the ball, try and make a pass that make a difference. The nerve, the self-assurance, the strategic belief about doing that over and over again, that bravery is very different from the common interpretation of bravery in Scottish Premier League. That bravery, I think, has ebbed a little bit. I think it's at a slightly low state at the moment. Not in all our players, but in too many of them. And therefore, lesser teams know that they have the chance not only to beat us, but they also know that if they go 1-0 up, some of our players aren't going to have the wiring to know how to deal with it.
Mate, thank you for coming on. I could chat all afternoon to you, but we've got a game to watch in a few hours. So thank you. Fingers crossed that we get the right result today. And
having said all that I've said, Ali, we'll get the result. I think we're going to win. Stick it to Dundee. I don't care how it happens, but 3 points for the Dandies. There you go.
Come on. Thanks, mate. Have a great day, Graham. Lovely to see you.
Good luck with the channel.
Thanks, pal.
Many thanks to Graham for joining us today. Great to see him as always. So here is the bottom of the league table. We know where we are. We know what we have to do. And we know how important 3 points are today against Dundee. I've just put together some match stats for you as well. There we are. So the Dons have won each of their last 7 home league matches against Dundee. Aberdeen have picked up the joint fewest points of any side in the Scottish Premiership in 2022, which, as we know, is worrying. And Dundee have only won 1 of their last 24 league matches against Aberdeen, and we all know when that came, which was in the last encounter at Dens Park, which we shall not get into. So, as I mentioned earlier, if you're just joining us, this is ABTV. My plan here with this channel is to be a completely independent broadcaster. I'm going to be hoping to bring you content, original content from Aberdeen Football Club that I'm going to be making and editing and producing. Hoping to travel, get you guys involved, the fans as well. We've got lots and lots of ideas. Social media is very important. We'll be doing lots of social media, reacting to social media. The good stuff, the bad stuff. I also think it's very important to get you, the fans, involved. If you were with us earlier, I mentioned that as much as this is a personal project, I want you guys to get involved as well. It's very important, I think, to give people a platform. And just to let you know that going forward, if you've been following my blog page, we're now going to take it up a notch. And we're going to be doing exclusive one-on-one interviews via Zoom, via Skype, on ABTV, where I want for you guys at home to really see the emotions on the faces of all the guys that I speak to. So I'm really looking forward to bringing you that content as well. Thank you for all your support with the blog. It's been absolutely incredible. Newspaper reaction is also going to be coming on a Monday night. I'm looking forward to doing all of that with you as well. Going to be bringing in key journalists to talk about the weekend's games, get them to react to all the headlines. So I'm particularly looking forward to that as well. So some of the content that I've been making over the past sort of few years here and there has been absolutely brilliant fun. I've really enjoyed putting the stuff together. And one of the things that I actually did was I took a trip to Pittodrie last year to meet up with someone who's been a little bit quiet and a little bit mysterious.
This is just a bit of fun and a little bit random. So I'm in the car, it's nice and early, it's a beautiful day, and I'm just on my way to Pittodrie for a meeting. The only thing is, what I'm going to see is a little bit shy and hasn't been seen for many years. So let's go and see if we can find it. See you in a bit.
go. Stephen Glass's Coca-Cola Cup Final Man of the Match Award from 1995. We're going to be speaking to a very special guest in just a moment, but let's just get some more Twitter reaction to see what's been going on. ES1903 said, stand by the team today. No stupid songs about relegation, Mark McGee, etc. Stick by them for the 90 minutes and we might just do it. Robert Gillespie has said, loads of people still not realising how bad this season could get. 110% required from the staff, the players and the crowd for 90 minutes plus today. Come on, you Reds. I think it's safe to say that we all echo those sentiments. Right, let me introduce to you my very special guest. Again, like Graham, I spoke to this person earlier today. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Jess.
Delighted to say, joining me from Barcelona, Aberdeen legend, Ian Jess. Ian, thank you, mate, for being with me on my first broadcast today. It's an absolute pleasure, as always. We've just seen the little VT that I made about Stephen Glass's Coca-Cola Cup Final mountain bike. Let's just go back and have a discussion about that game, because what a day that was.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, it was obviously the cup final, and to sort of win it. I mean, it was a big deal because the pressure was on us, because obviously you have to beat the Old Firm to win a cup in Scotland. So I managed to do that in the semi-final, but the pressure was on us because we were the sort of the favourites really to win it. So it was a great day, and the team, every man sort of stepped up to the plate and performed really well on the day to actually win the cup. So it's a great occasion.
A lot of folk have asked me about the bike and where is it. It's currently at Pittodrie, and the plans for the bike, once the new stadium is built and the museum is built, the bike will actually go into the museum. But hopefully it will. Let's just see what happens. But let's talk about that bike, because am I correct in saying it was actually your idea for Stephen to get on the bike to have that now famous photograph?
Yeah. I mean, you're getting a bike, so you have to get on it. I was actually trying to get him to sort of get on round the pitch on it, but he sort of made the right decision not to do that. So, but he got on it. So yeah, it's a sort of famous photo. So. And it was well deserved as well. He was excellent today. Put in a fantastic performance. It was definitely the man of the match.
Yeah, he played super well that day. Okay, let's talk about the Dundee game coming up very soon at Pittodrie. What's your thoughts on the current predicament going on at Pittodrie?
Well, it's not great, you know. We're just obviously we're sort of still a few points ahead of the teams below us, so it's a massive game. Obviously, Dundee are sort of fighting for their lives as well, so you know, sort of we need every man to sort of be putting in 100% and hopefully get the result that's needed. I think we just need to sort of get like a little bit of confidence. The confidence looks as if it's lacking in the team. Obviously, that comes with not getting results. So even for that, just to sort of get a result today, then maybe sort of gather a bit of momentum from now at the end of the season, because that's what's going to need to get us out of the predicament we're in.
Okay, just to finish off, mate. So I'm going to be seeing you again up in Inverness on the 3rd of June. So we did our gig together at Adder House Hotel, which was absolutely fantastic. And I think if we even get half the crowd that we did at Ardo up in Inverness, I think it'll be another great night, eh?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic evening, really sort of humbling as well, the response that I got. But it was nice just to have a wee natter for a couple of hours and just tell some stories that people didn't know about. So, and it was well received. So hopefully we can do that again in Inverness. Really looking forward to it. Maybe I'll find a few new stories that I can tell as well. So. But yeah, it should be a good night, hopefully. So, but yeah, tune the fat a little bit.
Yeah, good man. Listen, mate, lovely to see you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Likewise.
So much
all the
for coming
best
on.
with the new venture.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. Speak to you soon.
All right, take care.
There you go, Ian Jess, looking so well as he always does. Thank you, Ian, for taking the time to speak to me today from his base in Barcelona as well. Now, at this point, we were going to get some fan reaction. I was going to be speaking to Gaz from ABZ Podcast. Gaz, I'm so sorry. Unfortunately, I've had technical issues today, which means I can't bring you the interview that Gaz and I did earlier today. But what I do want to do is just direct you to their podcast, if you can, guys, give them a listen. They always have really good guests on, particularly players from the past. They've got a very special with John Hewitt coming up this week as well, while they sort out their new guests. So, guys, I do apologise that we had the technical issues today, but we will be speaking to the boys from ABZ Football Podcast on a very regular basis here on ABTV going forward. Guys, we are done. That's it for my first show. Thank you so much for all the comments that have come into the YouTube page. I'm very grateful. Thank you for all the comments on social media as well. As I said, there will be no halftime show today and there'll be no full-time show today. But just keep an eye on my social media pages as we go forward while we get used to the technology, we get used to everything that we're doing through the software as well. So just bear with me over the coming days and I'll try and get the next show on as soon as possible. Hopefully, if all things go well, we're looking to get the next show on Monday night. I'm now off to meet the boys on the big Saturday football show on Bauer Media. I'll be reporting live because I'll be watching the game from my base here in Germany this afternoon against Dundee. So we'll be getting live reports on that. 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock UK time on Bauer Media and North Sound Radio. But guys, listen, thank you so much. You have no idea how buzzing I am to be on air with you guys. Get involved and we'll see you again very, very soon. Thank you so much for being with me. Stand free. Come on the Dons today.